Today's a pretty big day for me because on June 20th, 2009, I made the decision to create a YouTube channel and upload videos to YouTube. I had a channel a year before that I had a couple videos on, but this was the day that I said, I think I'm going to make it JERICHO, and I'm going to upload vlogs. At the time, it was vlogging when you sat in front of your camera like this, and that's all you did. You didn't have to go anywhere. You didn't have to film anything. It was just sit down and rant. I was playing Call of Duty World at War at the time in a sniper lobby on the map Upheaval using the PTRS, and I remember complaining to my friend that I had gotten a hit marker with an anti-tank rifle. He was like, you probably should record videos of you ranting because it's pretty funny. And I was like, really? Really? And he was like, yeah, go ahead and do it. So I wrote a script and I made my first video. A couple weeks later, I was still in a sniper lobby and my friend mentioned, oh, these guys probably don't even know who Grizz is. And Grizz was a popular sniper at the time and he was probably the biggest YouTuber in the gaming sphere. And so I said, yeah, they probably don't. You know what? I should go to my supermarket and I should ask random people, if they knew who Grizz was. And my friend was like, you won't do that. And I was like, yeah, I will. So I got my real life friend to come film for a school project with me, and we asked people, do you know who Grizz is? These two videos were monumental for me because on one hand, I had non-gameplay content on YouTube that gamers were watching, and on the other hand, I actually had people watching it. I had like 50 or 60 views per video, and that went on for a couple weeks until like a month and a half after my first video got uploaded, I finally hit 100 views. This dude by the name of PSN Cool PJ found my YouTube channel. He was a bigger YouTuber, obviously playing Call of Duty still with 1,000 subscribers or so, and he shouted me out on his YouTube channel. And then a guy named Exxon shouted me out on his YouTube channel. He had like 4,000 subscribers, and these are huge numbers at the time. And I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna pop off. When I hit 500 subs and a couple months after I started, I was like, man, people actually care about the things that I'm putting online, and that is weird to me. When I was in school in 7th grade, I got the nickname Joke Killer. People didn't think that I was funny, and anytime I would try and chime into a joke or make a comment, it wouldn't be funny at all, and people would stop laughing. And so I didn't have a lot of close friends. I tried to fit in with a lot of the popular kids, and I did have some, friends, but I never got invited over to people's houses. I never, went to parties. And I was looking for an outlet to be my obnoxiously loud, weird, uncomfortable self, and somehow had fallen ass backwards into YouTube, where apparently like a couple hundred people felt the same way and they actually liked what I was making. I made a skit called A Day in the Life of a No-Scoper, which at the time, if I could stroke my ego, nobody was making skits about video games. Nobody was making funny short videos. And I always looked up to Balloon Shop and Derek Comedy as influences on why I started to do gaming content that wasn't actually about gaming. And yeah, it was crazy. It took 3 months or so, 4 months until I even uploaded a YouTube video with gameplay in it. I told a couple of my friends that I made a YouTube channel and that I was uploading videos and there were people watching, but I didn't tell anybody at school really. And as a result, it wasn't until the day after graduation when somebody who I didn't personally tell mentioned it. They're like, oh, I heard you have a YouTube channel with like a couple thousand subscribers. And I was like, yeah, it's pretty cool. And I just didn't want to talk about it because what are you supposed to say? So I went to college and I don't know how, but I managed to convince my entire hall that it was not only normal for me to video everything, but it was like my job and they can't complain about it. I mean, I would be recording videos in between classes at 10 a.m. when my roommates were sleeping, when people could hear me screaming at the top of my lungs, and people just told me to shut up and keep it down, but that was it. Like, everyone was weirdly accepting of it, and it was pretty big for me. Like, I don't know if I didn't get the confidence to make videos in college if I would be doing this anymore. I took an entrepreneurship class in college because I was the guy who wanted to run his own business. Now I saw all of this stuff and it really didn't apply to me. Like, my teacher was an entrepreneur, but I don't remember what he did. And this was all about like starting your own business, but I had already kind of been running a one-man business this whole time. And monetizing yourself and making yourself the business is way different from like running a business with employees. So even though I enjoyed the class, it was kind of a waste of time, but I still went to Dr. Harper, who was the teacher at the time, and I was like, hey, I've got this crazy business idea and I want you to give me your insight. And so I told him about it as best I could. I was like, yeah, I run a media company. I'm the only one that does it. There's no overhead. I just have to pay for like electronics, video games, and internet. And I'm pretty much profitable 100% of the time. And he's like, seems good to me. You might want to pursue that, I guess. So that was like the nail in the coffin. I'd been thinking about dropping out of college this entire time, but I was nervous because I was going to call my parents, who had spent tens of thousands of dollars on my education, and they had always pushed me to be a better student and take things seriously and stop goofing off. I was going to call them and be like, hey, dropping out of college to move to Los Angeles with my friends to make video game videos. And I'm going to be real with you, it was a really nerve-wracking call, and the two things I remember were my mom and dad saying, hey, we'll support you, and if this is what you want to do and you're sure of it, like, make a plan and we'll be there for you. And I was like, holy shit. And then the other thing was my dad saying, well, you're young, so if you're going to fuck up your life, now's a good time to do it. Something along those lines. And I was like, we're going to Los Angeles. First time I went to Los Angeles was to look for a house to rent, and the second time I went was to move. I shared a room with like 5 other people of my friends, and we moved into the house. This old 1926 like home in a neighborhood in Santa Monica, and we tried to be adults while making YouTube videos. People came and left that house. It was like a frat house for content creators. I mean, we had people from the UK. We had people from all over the US come and go. Some stayed 6 months. Some stayed 3 years. And the one overarching theme here was that all of us just really, really desperately wanted to make it. Like, we really, really, really wanted to make whatever we had just done, this whole gaming sphere. We wanted to make this actually viable. And this was the moment that we decided, hey, like, let's take this shit seriously. Let's stream. Let's, like, really work on building up something that can last for longer than 2-3 years. I made a series with my friend Tom, and it's probably what I'm most well known for. And this literally came from us being bored, and Tom like, hey, what do you want to do? You want to do a Minecraft series? And I was like, yeah. So we went online and we just searched, like, metal alloy names, and then we put 2 of them together and made Mionite. And it was like, all right, that's it. That's what we're calling it. It's important to know that in 2013, in 2014, these are the times where we actually saw older guard YouTubers and content creators start to disappear. The people that lost the flame, the people that didn't want to make YouTube videos anymore, the people that just didn't, continue to grow. And I was very well aware of the fact that this was all temporary, and at the very best case scenario would be I get to keep doing this until people thought that I was no longer funny or relevant, or there was no more people that were being introduced to my channel, or this was like the start of, oh shit, God. So being on this content creation wheel and suddenly feeling like, oh, this is, I'm an adult, I have to be an adult. I've skipped out on college. I've decided to change my entire life. I've moved across the country. Like, shit's happening and I have to either change what I'm doing or die. So we kept trying to innovate. We kept trying to do stupid shit. We kept trying to network. I kept working with more and more people. I did shit for free for the dumbest reasons, just so I could talk to people that may eventually, I'd work with. Never do things for free. However, I attribute a lot of my business relationships and successes to connections that I made while doing shit for free. That's just the cold, honest truth. I will never do anything for free anymore, but a lot of my now current business and probably future connections came from these events. I paid for my first sponsored deal. I paid $500 to go advertise for Gunner Optics in San Diego. And the people that I met there, Rhyme Style, great YouTuber. Kay Panabaker, incredible actress. Now kicking ass and doing her own thing. Fucking Kevin Tancheron, who directed the Mortal Kombat series, as well as does a whole bunch of stuff on TV. The two co-owners from Gunner Optics, I ended up working a lot with them on other side projects. Fucking Rishi, my boy, now runs Twitter Gaming. Like, I met Xjaws there. I ran into him last week, and he's doing some brand stuff too. I met Hastro, owner of Envious, and Fwiz, who's now head of YouTube Gaming there. I met Neighbor and Elamite Warrior, the two Halo pros. I met Bravo, who now runs 343's multiplayer division, I think. All of these people from one event that I paid for. I would never recommend doing it, but sometimes your dumbass kid's self makes bad choices that end up in incredible opportunities. Throughout all this, I grew up. I changed. My likes and dislikes changed a little bit. The things that I enjoyed making content for changed. The people that enjoyed watching me grew up. They changed. People who watched me in Call of Duty stopped watching me, for the most part with Minecraft. And those who watched Minecraft stopped watching me for Counter-Strike. And then those who watched in Minecraft grew up and then they started watching Counter-Strike. And it's important to realize that there is never a dull moment, and there is such a roller coaster of ups and downs that nobody fucking knows what they're doing, especially not me. And all you can hope to do is make things that make you happy. Do things that make you enjoy yourself. I thought about quitting YouTube on 3 separate occasions. A couple months before we made My Night, I was not actually able to pay for my portion of the rent because it was just me and Tom living in the house, and the rent was actually more than I made from YouTube that month. You can't really do much in Los Angeles on 2 million YouTube views. And so I started asking Razor and some other people if they had spot openings. And then My Night happened and things went incredible. 3 years ago, I thought about potentially getting a job. I was playing PUBG exclusively on Twitch. My YouTube was not doing too hot. I was getting literally like half as many viewers, which you might say, Tucker, that's still great. It is. But I was thinking, maybe I should capitalize on the fact that people still know who I am and use that to get a better hire. Maybe I should, go to these companies, these agencies and say like, hey guys, like you want me on your team. I've been doing this longer than anyone. I've been working these brand deals. I've been managing myself. Like you want me. But if you wait too long, then you're another washed up YouTuber just looking for a job and your weight it's not the same. And then I don't know, man. I started playing weird indie games and dating sims and fucking around. And now my Twitch channel literally has not been healthier. It's not been more successful or anything. And I have no fucking clue, what I'm doing still. I'm just doing things that make me happy. And that is the only way I think I'm not burnt out at all. I'm still enjoying it, and I still wake up every day excited to do all of this. I didn't know this video was going to be this long. It's like a 30-minute jack-off session for my ego, but allow it. It's only going to happen once every decade, I promise, okay? I got to work with the companies that I've always looked up to. Xbox reset the gamer tags back on the 360, and I managed to wait until the moment they did it, and then I snagged a bunch of original gamer tags. Charizard, Fruit Loops, Monster Energy. I got contacted by Monster Energy by a guy named Joe who worked there and said, hey man, we really need that gamer tag. And I was like, give me a case of Monster. He's like, bet. Never got that case of Monster. Funny enough, I now have been working with Monster for about 5 years now. They've sponsored me. And it was a dream come true considering I literally used to collect Monster Energy cans and put them on my wall. My name's not Kyle, but I was pretty close to a Kyle, except I never punched a hole in the wall. I just thought the energy drink cans were cool. I got to do, brand deals with Chipotle, with Samsung, with Google, with Instagram, with Best Buy, with Audi, with Nissan. I've done consulting for Toyota, with HP, with fucking, like, every single brand that I've ever even thought about working with, I've pretty much done it with. Like, Adidas just sent me a care package with their new shit. I mean, I get Xbox sends me their new Xboxes, PlayStation, it is one of the most surreal things that I will never get used to because I would watch the infomercials at 2:30 in the morning, and all of a sudden, like, Full Sail University or some shit would come on. And it's like this terribly programmed 3D modeling character, and it's like, have you ever wanted to make a living playing video games? And I was like, well, yeah, I have. It's like, join Full Sail University, learn how to code. And I was like, eh. And then like a playtest, commercial would come on, and I'm like, I could play video games all day and still get paid for it? Yeah, apparently I can. And not only that, but apparently, like, the real world, the normal media world, the world outside of gaming, apparently they will take interest too. And it won't be weird, and you won't feel too ashamed to say what you do, and you're actually going to contribute to the conversation, and people will look to you for advice, and companies will put value in your opinion because you know how to play video games and create content around it. When I got an email saying that I had been nominated by a few people for Forbes 30 Under 30 for gaming, I didn't want to call my parents or anyone and tell them in case I did not make it. So after about like 5 or 6 minutes, I called my parents and I let them know that I had been nominated, but I made sure to tell them, like, this doesn't mean I'm going to make it. However, I want to tell you that there has been nothing accolade-wise that I have ever wanted more than when I found out that I got nominated for that. It wasn't because I've always walked past Forbes magazines in every airport and said, that'd be cool to be on the 30 Under 30, but it was because I knew inherently that meant validation for not only gaming, but the fact that, like, I had actually contributed something more than just creating YouTube videos. See, they don't put people on there who just make YouTube videos or just stream on Twitch, really. You have to do something more. And they acknowledged the race. They acknowledged the brands that I had worked with. They acknowledged the commitment that I had to the industry from the start. And all of that culminated in the fact that, like, the third year of Forbes Gaming, they put me in. And I didn't know when they had actually put it in print until I was going home for Christmas, and I was in the airport, and I saw the 30 Under 30 cover, and I fucking ran over there, and I grabbed the entire stack, like 8 of them, and I put them down. And they're, like, expensive as shit. It's airport magazines and stuff. And the lady looks at me and goes, you like Forbes? And I was like, yes, I do. I didn't tell her because, like, what do you want me to do? No, I'm in this bitch. No, I didn't tell her. Got it, put it on my backpack, went to the bar, had a vodka water. I was like, what a surreal experience. It's been 10 years. 10 years of creating content. And the reason that this date is so important to me is not just because it's 10 years of my YouTube channel being created with the intent of creating content under my name, Jericho. It's because it was the start of my entire career, period. This is like the birthday of my current life. And it's not that I didn't start streaming for another year. It's not that I didn't even make a Twitter for a year and a half after. It's because, like, I owe everything to the single moment where I clicked create on that channel. And despite the fact that I have many shortcomings and many issues, I do have shortcomings with YouTube, and I've had a lot of ups and downs with the platform. And things that I've worked with on that platform and companies. I owe my life to it, and I can't stress enough how surreal it is to make a decade of content. I've outlived a lot of the people that I looked up to who actually made content, and it's a really, really special feeling. It is. And there's been over 1.2 million people who are still subscribed. Lord knows how many people unsubscribed over the course of the last 10 years. And there's been over 250 million views. I actually removed over 1,000 videos a couple years ago because I just felt like those videos weren't indicative of what you could expect coming to my channel. I didn't want somebody going to my channel and finding, like, thoughts of the week 7, and being like, what the fuck is this bowl cut coconut head looking ass talking to me in a 280 or 260 360p camera? I don't know resolutions, apparently. So I'm done rambling. I'm just really, 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 really proud, and how lucky I am, and how validated and happy I am that this is a milestone I get to celebrate. And not only that, but one that I'm looking at my YouTube and my Twitch, and I see that in the last year, I've done better than I have in the last 4 years, right? Like that things are going better. I can only hope that we can keep doing this for as long as you guys want to. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. I'm not stopping anytime soon. So as long as there's people out there that are enjoying and watching my content, I'm going to be here to make content. And despite the fact that things have changed from making standalone YouTube videos to a lot of stream highlights and not as many skits or whatever, thanks for watching. Seriously, I'm very, very, very thankful and humbled that people still enjoy me. So I guess the only thing left to do is set another goal. Let's shoot for 6 more years. 16 years of YouTube would mean that I've created content for half my life. That's disgusting. So thank you guys for coming out to the 10-year podcast that was not supposed to be a podcast, was supposed to be a 4-minute long video. If you guys enjoyed, let me know. And as always, I'll talk to you guys soon.